flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Moving on to municipal officers' workshops, business, and public hearings. The first being a public hearing on the Harbor Marina Boatyard lease. Any members of the public like to speak at this time on this? Seeing none,
Go over the terms of the,
we can, you wanna do, there's nothing from the public, you wanna go close the public hearing and go into discussion with the board?
that's what I would do. Well, I'm just wondering if the public may not know what's in the lease. And maybe.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. I'm usually gonna close the public portion and then.
We can always take questions if something comes up.
Okay,
Sure.
I just,
So don't
if something
close.
comes up, but I
Yeah.
just wanna have, make sure the public had an opportunity to chime in, that's all.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a motion to close the public hearing?
I make a motion that we close the public hearing.
Second. All those in favor? 5-0, on to discussion with the board. So, yeah, let's, why don't we go over the terms real quick and, Bob, you wanna, anything you wanna, I know that you worked hard.
Yeah, John and myself were the members of the Board of Selectmen along with Bill and some other folks that met with Randy and Scott, the current leaseholders. And we came up with a new lease, new terms for the lease. Part of the term of the lease was to change the rental. Right now, it's 5,000, or 6,000 a
It's
year.
about 6,000 a year.
And the new terms have the lease at 12,000 a year. And that carries on till 2023, and then there's an annual increase of 3%, rounded to the nearest dollar. That was,
What, 5?
I'm sorry. Oh, go ahead, it stays 12,
Sorry,
12,000 for 5 years,
thank you.
and then after 5 years, it goes up 3%.
Little thing, but it's kind
Oh,
of.
no, The terms are already in there.
Yes, they are.
And the term is for 10 years with 2 5-year renewable leases. We did put in the agreement that gives Scott and Brandy the opportunity to transfer the lease to another party if they end up selling their business or transferring their business to another party, and that's in the lease. And most of the other terms are the same as what was in the original lease. The biggest thing was the increase in the lease amount. That's it.
And we kept the right to retain the buildings
Oh,
for
yes.
assessed value.
Yeah, we have the right to retain them, if in fact Scott and Brandy decided that they wanted to not opt in up the lease of 10 years, and we had nobody to transfer it to, the town has the option to buy the buildings at the assessed value. And the reason we wanna do that is we don't wanna lose the marina operation on the harbor. If you were to lose those buildings in operation, it might be very difficult from a permitting standpoint to get a marina back on down at the harbor. So we wanna be able to maintain that. So that was a provision in the lease that we kept. And interesting enough, I was on the board when we signed the first lease.
1994.
And I'm back again, so. But it was a pleasure working with Scott and Brandy and getting that nailed down. And they do a great service down there for the town and for the people that enjoy that marina. So it's good to have them stick around.
Here. Indeed. Anything from the board? After hearing the explanation, any comments from the public, any questions or concerns?
Okay, my motion?
Yeah.
I move to approve the lease agreement with Web Hand at Boatyard Incorporated and to authorize the town manager to sign the lease agreement.
Second. All those in favor? 5-0. Next, we'll move on to a public hearing on proposed changes to demolition fees, bag fees, and a requirement for resident stickers for the transfer station. Any members of the public like to speak on this topic? Thank you, Scott and Brandy.
Thank you.
Yes, sir, if you could come up to the podium and just state your name.
Don Campbell. The rate you'd wanna get is what, $4.50 a bag, is it?
Proposed. It's up
Proposed.
for discussion, yes.
Okay. Was there something about the recycle? You're gonna charge for recycling? Was that, I thought I heard that
We're
mentioned.
going that route. There was some discussion as far as maybe doing away with it or charging with it, but we decided, I don't know if we decided, but we did
Yeah.
not include that in this. There was some discussion around that. We just
Okay.
leave that alone for now.
Now, these residence passes, stickers, if you go up to $4.50, I don't see any need for the stickers because we'd be the highest one around. And I can't believe anybody's gonna come to town and pay more than they can in their own town. Right now, North Berwick charges $2 a bag. Of course, Wells charges $2.10. Gunquit is $2.60. Sanford is $2.90. Portland is $3.50. Kennebunk charges $4.40, which they can come over here right now, buy our bags, and they're gonna save $2.30 on every bag they drop. But, you know, Kennebunk also gets it picked up at the door. So I don't see any need of any passes, any stickers. And we had stickers like, 20 years ago, and I never had anybody check mine to see that if I was a resident or not. So I guess that's it.
So, thank you, sir.
John, could you tell me what the recommendations are for the changes?
Yeah, absolutely. Tonight, we're discussing the household trash, mixed demo, and then the sticker that was alluded to. The sticker was proposed at a cost on here, it's at $25, but again, there'll be some discussion for having a resident sticker. That way, non-residents couldn't go in and say, right now, there's an issue that other towns are bringing their things to the Wells Transfer Station, and we're essentially subsidizing that, so there's that issue. There's a proposed rate increase on the 33-gallon bags to go to $4.50 from $2.10 currently, and then move to one size bag, 33-gallon only, and then a proposed increase on demo to go to 12 cents a pound. I believe that's up from 8, if I'm not mistaken, and it includes shingles in there, which I believe we've already done. The shingles are already going in there, but a rate increase there. I believe there was around just shy of, what was it, a $200,000 deficit that the transfer station's running each year, so the changes.
And is there a recommendation from the Solid Waste Committee?
Yes, that's what these are.
That's what they, okay.
Yes, sir, absolutely. Yes, Steve, if you could just come up to the podium, state your name for the folks at home, that'd be great.
My name is Steve Kenninger, and I was on the Solid Waste Committee. One of the reasons that we decided, to answer your question, one of the reasons that we decided that the rates needed to be increased is because every bag that goes there now, we're losing money. Maybe some of the surrounding towns haven't realized that yet. It's a game of catch-up. I'm sure no one's surprised with the inflation rate that it is to understand that everything's going up. By bringing this up to $4.50, we're still going to have to revisit this in the next year and look at the costs and see how the costs have increased. Right now, people are paying probably about $3.60 a gallon for gas. So, everything's gone up substantially. At the time that the bags were established at $2.10, gasoline was substantially less than $2.10 a gallon. So you have to understand that because petroleum products are used to make these bags, the cost of the bags goes up. Because this trash has to be transferred up north, costs of fuel are involved in it. So those costs are all passed on to the town, and to keep the town from absorbing all the costs, the cost of the bags needs to go up. And just to reinforce what John had said about the stickers for the transfer station, we have caught numerous people from out of town dumping there, and not just residential trash, but commercial trash. And the stickers will be used to make it easier to identify those who are in town, to make sure that we're only accepting trash from Wells. That's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you, Steve. Any other members of the public like to speak at this time? If you could come up to the podium. State your name for the folks at home.
Joe Hardy. I was on the original, I don't know if it's the original, but recycling committee a long time ago. I think we established that rate somewhere around $2. So I think the rate increase is long overdue. The only thing that I question is whether it might be better off to do it incrementally. It's like with a tax raise, you know, if you raise it, propose 8%, people will squawk. If you do it 2% occasionally and get up to the 8%, it's much more likely to be accepted. And on the way over tonight, I saw a mattress and a big TV on the side on the Cheney Woods Road, which is one of the favorite dumping places. And it was an issue we struggled with, try to, if you price it too high, people start, dumping illegally. So I appreciate the effort of the committee, but I still wonder, it should be increased, but I wonder if it perhaps ought to be in the $3 range rather than $4.50. And I do support the sticker. So thanks.
Thank you.
We should also mention the proposal as it is eliminates two of the bags, the small and the big, and limits to the 33
Yeah.
gallon in the proposal.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
What was the effective date of this, the first thing?
I'm in favor of the $4.50 a bag. I think whatever it takes to balance it out so it the fund comes out with with no overcharge. I just wondering the bags that sell in the store, do they charge a fee for selling them?
No.
No. Okay. So and of course a lot of people got beach stickers on their car, right? So probably half the people that go to the dump got beach stickers. And I don't know, what was it? You was thinking about charging $5 for a sticker?
Proposed at 25 right now.
$25 for a sticker?
That's the proposed rate.
Why is that? How do you coming up with that figure? Why don't you just charge $6 for a bag or something, rather than charging? Because I only go to the transfer station every 2 months. I recycle the everything, like compost and everything. So I go every 2 months. So this is an extra burden on me. I have to pay $25, and somebody brings 2 or 3 bags a week. That's different. But I'd rather than I don't see no need of the pass anyway. I can't understand why we're the highest around. Nobody's gonna bring it. Nobody's gonna come in here, pay extra just to dump in wells when they can dump it in their own town cheaper.
Thank you, Mr. Campbell.
Brian Toomey, I was on the committee as well. So it's not just the fact that the bags are going up, but the sticker is so that we can identify people coming in, as Steve said, because we did find out we have a lot of people coming in. They do a great job up there trying to identify people. They're turning people away, but there was actually something on Facebook in Sanford telling people to bring their leaves and brush up here too, because you could bring it in for free. So it's to identify, to reduce that trash that's costing you money. This will save you money. Plus all the proposals together still will not equal the total money that we're losing, and I shouldn't say losing, but it cost us to run the transfer station. So it's a combination of everything to try to get us to see how we'll do. And you may have to have changes in the future as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. It's just worth mentioning too that the transfer station is run as an enterprise fund, which just for the folks at home, what that means is basically trying to balance the cost with this pay per bag and all these fees that are being discussed, so that somebody that has a dumpster, for example, doesn't use the transfer station, isn't paying for the transfer station. It's being paid for by the people that use it. So that's some of this lingo, just so everybody has that. Anybody else from the public at this time?
Good evening, Mark Dupree. I'm just asking about, I've had a lot of people asking me, does that affect or will it affect pickup from the private companies that are doing pickup in town? Is that going to eventually affect them, or will that cost be transferred to them at some point in time along the way? That's been a question that's been asked. Do you know if that would happen?
I don't think our
No
transfer
impact?
I
Okay.
don't think our transfer station fees would. Now, the prices that are driving the proposed changes here probably would with the cost of fuel and everything, but Casella operates the building on the hill out at the transfer station, and I believe a lot of the private haulers around town use that facility. They have their own prices, so.
Okay. Thank you.
Anyone else from the public? Seeing none?
Close it and then a discussion.
Yes.
I move to close the public hearing.
Second.
All those in favor? Discussion.
I have a question. Mr. Campbell brought up an interesting point. And then I'm thinking, I wonder if we, which is sound weird, but we wait on the sticker price, like not even decide, because the argument on the sticker price is that some people come from out of town, dump leaves, dump all this stuff, right? But if one of the discussions we're gonna have when we discuss brush and stuff is not having that anymore. So who would be coming in to dump illegally?
Didn't they
If we
bring
don't have-
tires?
There was, from my
And the
understanding,
price of bags has gone up, so who is gonna be coming in illegal, like Mr. Campbell, who would be coming in?
there's been tires, mixed demolition. What was one of the other ones that sorry, so was it cardboard?
Cardboard.
Yeah, cardboard coming in. Steve?
That would be my other point, is if we're not, if technically speaking, there is no recycling going on, if everything is going in, why are we recycling? If it actually isn't happening, I just hate that feeling of, hey, we recycle, but we really don't when it goes somewhere else. Like, I think Agunquit's done away with recycling, haven't they?
I don't know that, we think that, we know that recycling isn't being recycled anymore, there's no markets. There, and over the many years that I've been doing this, those markets have come and gone, but they've largely faded. You could do away with recycling and have it be bagged, but without an education process, I think that's a little risky. People are all trained, happy to separate. In fact, they're separating, hoping to reduce their bag fees or their bag costs.
I do it,
Yeah,
but
Yeah, it just, I think you shouldn't do it quick. If you're gonna do it, we'd have to put together an education campaign. And we talked about that being maybe a later phase that staff puts together for you.
Sorry, Kathy.
Okay. I think the $4.50 a bag, I really agree with it because we do have such a deficit there of what it costs us to run that place and what we have for loss every single year. And I think it's time, and you're right, Joe, it probably incrementally would have worked if we had started like 8 years ago. But the problem is we didn't do it because nobody wanted to really kind of have to deal with that and that process at the time, but now there's no choice. It's reached the point where, and unfortunately, that's what happens when you wait and you should have done it, and we didn't do it that way. But now we're gonna bring it up to at least where it's gonna be somewhat near the cost of what it is to get rid of the trash on that part of it and the recycling, because we know that the recycling we're also paying for, and it's not going to any recycling facility, and we're not getting rid of that for free. But the sticker is, I think it was kind of a sick shock at probably $25, but that's negotiable. That's what we're here to talk about. We really think, or at least I believe, I can't speak for the rest of them, I believe that we really do need this sticker now, because there are more, don't forget there's Facebook, there's all these places out there that can tell people, hey, go over there, there's no stickers, they never check it, it's cheap, just dump your leaves and everything over at the wells, it's closer, or if you don't wanna have to go to where you are and pay for that dumpage. So, and that is happening, and you can go on Facebook and see it, or online and see that people are talking about it. So I think, yeah, we do need the sticker, but I think $25 is way more than probably what we should have. And I think the cost of, do we want to talk about the cost of what it is? The cost of the sticker with all the labor and everything would probably be closer to like, what, $5 or so? So maybe we want to look at doing this sticker at somewhere near the cost, say $5 or $6 or $7, doing that. And that way we prevent the people from bringing in, that's dumping in, that we're paying to have it taken away. And it takes care of that, and your sticker is paid for and it's not overpriced.
I know.
Yeah, I agree with the sticker. It's to cut down on the waste stream, I think.
Yeah.
I suppose.
Oh, yeah, it's
Yeah, Steve, go ahead.
So, and Jody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember that the cost of the sticker was around $5. That's just for the sticker. you know, we sell beach stickers, and they're significantly more expensive than transfer station. Granted, the beach is someplace you want to go, not necessarily the transfer station.
I don't know, I know some people that look forward to it.
I see a lot of people there.
I think you need to establish the fee, the transfer station as something that, yes, is going to net the town a few bucks, because as costs continue to rise, you don't want to be having the town paying for every sticker that goes out. So I think you need to establish it. I would say a minimum of $20. I think 25 was the ideal, but I think you need to establish that at that cost. And as far as the need for it, the discussion about you know, people coming in with bags and stuff, but the whole purpose of the sticker is to keep, for example, leaves and brush, and that's one of our most, that's where we run quite a deficit now. We only, I think it's once a year that we wind up dealing with the brush and the leaves. And because we're not charging for leaves, you know, it's costing us $20,000 to get rid of them. So.
But correct me if I'm wrong, if we, next week or the next time we meet, we discuss doing away with commercial hauling of leaves, that price is gonna come way down. So then why would someone from Kennebunk come here if it's the same price? That, you know,
Well,
I'm not arguing that they don't do that, I argue they do it. But my point is, we're doing away with commercial haulers, so that price will now go less. Because the
Okay,
commercial
well,
haulers
unless you
are
have
somewhere else.
stickers, you really have no way of identifying a commercial hauler.
I'm not saying do away with stickers, I did say that here, you know, when I first, but if we're rolling the price to $5, it's not, it doesn't cost us, I think the cost, Jody, can you just say the cost?
We got a price for them.
So, Jody Seymour, Finance Director. So the cost of the $5 is my beach sticker. So that, we're using a program from the sticker company to do that. They're mailing out the stickers. They're getting, right off the top, they're getting $5. So I got pricing from the sticker company to purchase stickers. It's approximately 36 cents a sticker before freight to get it here. And then I'm going back to my vendor that I got. We had a beach sticker program created by a user that works for the city of Portland. I'm going back to her to create a program for me to do the transfer station stickers. The cost for that for the year is going to be $500. And then you just have the cost of my staff to issue the sticker.
So the $5 for the cost of the sticker, so if you
Yeah.
buy it, you're pretty much, the town it's an
Yeah,
equal amount, right?
right.
So that's what, yeah, and at the same time, by doing that, you're paying for that, we're preventing people from dumping here that, okay,
Correct.
okay. Perfect.
Thank you, Jody.
When you, so, you know, it sounds like you're getting somewhere on the sticker issue. When you talk about the bag fees to help, we're prepared to also talk about what each 50 cents would theoretically bring in as you raise the price per bag on the 33-gallon bag, which will then be the only bag. But, so we also have info on how much going to $3 would look like, $3.50,
Right.
and so on.
I think
Jody's got-
$4.50 was the amount that would get us not over, but at least close to what it costs us, right?
Yeah, I understand and certainly respect what the committee came up with, because they realize that people who aren't even using the transfer station and putting bags in it are subsidizing that operation, because when we don't cover it through bag fees, then we're having to cover it with property tax dollars. So there's a backdoor subsidy, which they're trying, and it probably was their charge, to try to get rid of. But as you get talking about whether it's $4.50 or another amount, we're prepared to talk with you and provide what information we can as you weigh that.
Well, if it sounds good to everybody, let's tackle this individually. Let's stick on the sticker for right now, just so we can keep our energies focused on one thing at a time and we don't jump around. I want to keep discussing that real quick, maybe the structure and the board's thoughts on it. Scott, Bob, I haven't heard from either of you yet. What are your thoughts?
Begrudgingly, I can see the need to have a sticker because of all the trash that's coming in from outside the community. I think $25 is high. I could support $5 or $10, but I think 25 is a lot.
I mean, I think one of the things that we charged the committee with was to try to narrow the gap of the $200,000 deficit that we have up there. And increasing the bag fee isn't gonna do anything to that deficit. It only is gonna help cover the cost of that, but we still have the costs of getting rid of all the other stuff, and we're still running at a deficit. And the taxpayers who don't use the transfer station shouldn't be carrying the bulk of that. And using the sticker fees at 15 to 20, that additional amount of money is to help offset those costs of the people who are coming up there and using it. So it's really a matter of trying to cut down on the deficit that the transfer station is running us. I mean, if you look at the last 10 years, at $300,000 a year, it's been a very expensive operation for property taxpayers, for those people that don't use it, who pay private haulers to come and get their trash. They're paying for that, and they're paying for the transfer station for other people to use. I think it's only fair that the people that use it should be the ones paying for it. And I do think that, in listening to Mr. Hardy about the possibility of people now dumping stuff on the side of the road, I think the next thing we need to look at is the littering fine in this town. You make it $1,000 for the first time. We catch them, we'll stop them.
I have a
Yes, go
question
ahead,
to Jody, or the committee. I was under the impression that the $450 would bring us up to pretty much the deficit that we have. That is not correct. Well, the $450, and don't forget, if we do the stickers, there's a lot that we won't be paying for, so that's a reduction. So what the,
I do think you should hear from Jody, and,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, let's
she's the
have the
one that did
difference.
the financial
Okay.
analysis.
all right, good, perfect. And she has papers.
Alright. So, I was speaking to Carol, so this year, unaudited number, we're finishing the year that between revenues and expenses are including salaries and benefits and everything. We, out of taxation dollars, funded the transfer station by $174,000. In 21, it was $181,000, and in 2020, that was my biggest year, and that's the one that's $206,000. So, when we looked at bag prices and back, you all got a memo, probably back in August. I printed out the bag prices, just to give you a help. So this was the table that was in that memo.
Okay.
If you look at where it says effective change, this would be, all these numbers are from 19, 20, and 21 are inflated to 21 pricing and expending. So at the $450 bag price in fiscal year 19, the change would have brought in $171,000. I gave you an average, so if we just look at the averages, a $450 bag for those 3 years, we potentially pick up, based on all the assumptions that we've used, $212,000. Yeah, your $4 bag, you pick up $162,000. Your $350 bag, you're picking up $112,000. Your $3 bag, you're picking up $65,000. Tonight I gave you a $250 bag, you pick up approximately $50,000.
So it wouldn't be to the good, it would come to even that shortfall
Right.
at around, is it 4 or 450?
Well, so depending, if you're gonna implement stickers, you're changing the price of bags and we're changing the price of demo. When you add all those together, you can do a mix, like you could then reduce your bag price, you could, your sticker prices, I didn't print that out, but let's say we issue $47.81 in stickers, cause I don't know how many stickers we're gonna issue. We issue about 7,000 beach stickers. That's the quote that I got for transfer station stickers, cause just to get a rough idea. But when I originally gave you the averages, 4,781 stickers at $25 a piece, we're picking up almost 120,000. You're taking out 3,000 for the price of stickers you know, and things like that. At the low end, at the $5 range, you're picking up almost 24,000. So, and then like at the $15 range, based on that number of stickers, you're picking up 72,000. So 72,000 here, 50,000 in trash bags. In demo, the average that you would pick up is about 81,000. So between those three, you're already picking up almost 200,000.
Can you give us an idea of what we're losing on demo, on taking demo? Not demo, excuse me, on recycling.
That I can't, the recycling comes out in my trash number. So I know we spent totally for disposal costs in like 2021 to get rid of trash and recycling. We spent 279,000, almost 280,000.
So if we did the $4.50 a bag and we did $5 for the stickers, that would get us what?
So roughly, if we estimate the $5 sticker based on the 4,781, you're gonna pick up roughly 24,000. With your 450 bag, based on our estimates, the average pickup might be 212,000.
Okay. And what was our loss for this year?
Our loss this year unaudited is 174,000.
So we would pay for what they're dumping out, and it would pay for part of what we're losing in the recycling.
No, we're profiting at that point.
We're profiting at that point.
So,
Your loss
well,
is
we don't know what the loss from the
174.
recycling is.
Well, no, that's
It's
total.
rolled in with trash.
That's rolled in,
Yes.
so that is included in
Yes,
there.
yes, that's
Okay.
included in there.
So you're losing $1.74 last year.
Yep, okay.
And this is 236, I think.
Yeah, now keep in mind, in
Costs have gone
defense of the committee's trying to set it up so we don't lose money next year and the year after either.
Right, how long
But-
ago did, by now it's already changed in what we'd be, by the cost.
So, but we're just trying to give you what we know to be factual financial information. You can toy with it as you want and make your
I don't
decision.
have any,
Steve, you come up with Jody real quick, just because I think that it might be helpful having you there where you were on the committee. I think you was the chair, if I'm not mistaken. Yes,
Chair.
Bob, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just wondering, Carol, do you know, right now, we're paying $79.50 for a tipping fee. And I understand that's going up. What is it anticipated going up next year?
We do not have a number yet. Everyone says it's going up, but.
Do we have a guesstimate?
Guesstimate's about $15 a ton.
$15 a ton?
But that's a guess.
Plus, there's also the possibility,
Of a fuel charge?
yes,
right,
So we could be up around $100.
be more than that, yeah.
so
A little more than that.
right. So we'd be ahead of what we know is coming if we went with the $4.50 and the $5.
Well, we'd be ahead of what we paid last year, but we would probably be close to breaking even for what
Right.
we're
Okay.
paying next year. But, again, it's all a guess because we're just anticipating how much things are going up. We don't know for certain yet.
Yeah,
And we
there's
would-
assumptions
right.
being made.
Right, and you could tell if when we do the trash next year, by a number of the tipping fees or whatever the cost is, or the amount that we're doing, would that tell you roughly what we're saving by having only residents? Is there any estimate on what that costs?
So, no, cause I'm just doing off of bags, so these are purchased bags that came in, so I can't tell you if it was a non-resident purchased or non-taxpayer purchased these bags and brought them from another community and disposed of them here.
But it's not only bags, it's
Right.
Right.
demo,
Demo and everything.
it's tires, it's
So-
leaves, it's brush, I mean,
So-
Yes,
all that stuff comes in
Right.
from
right.
out of town.
Right, so what looks like a profit right now, by looking at that, if we were gonna do that,
Right.
is probably only gonna be a break even, and
At
we would,
best, yeah.
right, at best, and that, then we're gonna look at some of the brush and stuff, and that might help too, but it gets us a heck of a lot closer, and then we can look at incrementally, increasing as it comes, I think, at that point, pay attention, and we don't let it go as long as we did.
I think given the current inflationary cycle, I think it needs to be reviewed yearly.
Yes, yeah.
There are a lot of towns that put all their fees on one or two sheets and they get reviewed annually during the budget. It wouldn't be a bad practice here.
Well, it'd be a lot, I mean, with the, a lot simple, one bag, one price, one sticker price, and then we have it, so it'd be a lot easier to keep track of it, I think.
I'm having a real hard time with the fact that we're going through this exercise of collecting all this cardboard and all this recycling that just goes straight into the trash, and we're subsidizing that at the expense of everybody else. There's no place for this stuff to go. I'd like to see us stop taking recycling right away. If we took the bag fee to $3.50, if we took the sticker fee to $15, that brings us up by these numbers to $193,000, which is plus about $20,000. With the reduction in recycling, I think that gets us closer to where we need to be. Look at it again next year and see what we need to do, but I think going to what we're proposing is just too much and it's too fast.
I think the one thing that we gotta keep in mind is we're not trying to make money on this. And $4.50 a bag is a break-even point. So the question is whether you wanna subsidize people that are using the transfer station, or you wanna let them pay their own way. And however you answer the question is how you wanna vote.
All right. Right, and as an enterprise, that's part of the goal of having it, so that that particular process pays for itself mostly. We do it works well at the beach, works well for the recreation, but for the trash, we just never quite got there.
Just so everyone understands, if it's okay, if you said, all right, we're not gonna have people sort their recycling anymore, then they've got a bag. And so then they're gonna pay $4.50 a bag for their recycled. So that's one of the reasons why I felt like you ought to step back and analyze that impact kind of separately. You can do it tonight if you want to do it. You can say, no, we're not recycling anymore, you gotta bag it. But that then twists these numbers around. And it actually would bring in a lot more money, but cost the people using the bags, they'd be buying double the bags. And some people, I don't know about Mr. Campbell, but he may be recycling twice as much as he's throwing out for trash. So now he's gotta buy 3 times the bags.
I think that's
Good
why we
point,
went
Bill.
this route. That's why we went this particular route, was
For
so
now.
we wouldn't have to.
Yeah.
If we
'Cause
talk
then
about
there's gonna
recycling, then we talk about food, and we talk about it all together at a different.
Right, but if a gunk would stop taking the cardboard, why are we taking the cardboard? Why are the people from Agunkwood bringing it up to us so they can get rid of it for free? It just doesn't
That's why we
make
have the
any sense to
stickers.
me.
That's the theory.
Well, I understand that, but we're subsidizing the entire operation based on this myth that we're recycling it, and we're not recycling it, it's going in the trash. So
Right.
what are we doing?
I agree with you in principle on that, and I would like to look into it at a later date, but I also like Bill's point in the sense that maybe it's gonna go, instead of being $4.50 a bag, now you're gonna turn it into a $9 expense for someone. That much would concern me, especially with cardboard being as bulky as it is.
And I think recycling itself, we'd have to look at, and there's a whole world of just that that's gonna take a lot of looking at and analyzing and figuring out how we would, including food, because we had already said that. So you have, and sometimes maybe plastic and metal, there would be some that you could recycle, but you put all that stuff in the bags, and I don't care if it was only $3 a bag, people are not gonna be happy, and at least they feel like they're doing something, and it's helping them.
I mean, the education alone of the public would be a nightmare
Yeah.
to try to get people to stop. I
No,
mean,
and it's
Everybody that goes up there already has it laid out in their garage,
yeah,
and everything,
I have
newspapers
tons
and
in my
cans.
garage.
I mean,
right,
just to try to break that habit would be tough.
right.
We could just say we're not doing it anymore, we're gonna have to figure it out. I mean, if we need to take the bag fee up, take it up to $3. If that expense is gonna go up, at least it covers our expense. I don't know what to say here. I feel badly for everybody that's putting everything aside, but if it's going in the trash, it's going in the trash. So why are we doing it?
but they are paying for it. They, I mean, in a way, because they're buying the 450 bags and then they're being able to throw the cardboard away and you don't put them in those bags. Besides the fact that you're paying to throw that free to throw that cardboard away, trying to put the cardboard and anything like that in those bags is going to be, I'm sorry, next to impossible. You're gonna be burning.
For right now, what you're doing is they're paying by the weight for the
Right.
cardboard. They're taking it up, they're tipping it at their tonnage fee, and then it's being rolled into the cost of their bag, rather than trying to buy a bag that you might only get a few pounds and you're
Yeah.
not getting as good of a value. I mean, I can see
So
that point.
I just make the suggestion that maybe that it would be a good idea to bring up recycling and food waste in a separate public hearing.
Exactly.
Because I believe food waste is the highest weight volume that we have. And if we can eliminate some of the food waste, then we're eliminating some of the tipping fees.
I don't disagree with that, but I wouldn't schedule that public hearing next month. We have not done the analysis, financial and otherwise, in that.
No, but I think if we need to set it as a goal. I mean, we need a complete review. I think that if we put it on our to-do list and we get that and
Yeah.
start doing an analysis, I think that would be beneficial to make that commitment tonight.
Yeah, and I think if you're saying that, if as a board, you're gonna direct Jody and Carol to work with the new manager to put some kind of proposal together for you that addresses the recycling that's not being recycled and the food waste.
Right, because there are companies out there too that they had mentioned before that can do that. Absolutely.
And they can go work on that and then bring it back to you early next year sometime or whatever works.
Yeah, it would be foolish of us not to think that we weren't gonna be addressing it. We have to address it. There's no way around it, and we should be addressing it. But I think at this point and this time with what we're doing, it's the best step forward. And I think this is how we got bogged down before. Why it got put off so many times is because then you start looking at all the things. I think doing this first step, doing it in the stages that we're doing now is the only way we're going to be able to move forward. Otherwise, 5 years from now, we're gonna have a $20 a bag cost if we all at once. So I think it just makes sense to do what we're doing tonight and then move forward with the other stuff.
What's the projected increase on demo? What's that going to offset us by? How much of a
So,
loss are we taking, if any, right now? And
so on average, you're gonna, over 3 years, your pickup like 81,000.
81,000.
Over 3 years.
Yeah.
Now, is that
That's the average over a 3-year.
right? And is
history
that, do you have a line item for that, for what it costs us at the last one? Did we run a deficit on it? Were we subsidizing it, or was it at least breaking even on that line item?
No, we were at least breaking even.
Okay.
In 21, we brought in 52,000, almost 400.
All right, so that'll help us keep up in real time, okay. Well, is there any disagreement on the demo, going to 12 cents? Okay, so
I'm
that
fine
much
with
is,
the demo, but it
that
just
much is
adds to
decided. We have that.
the offsetting that it puts us further in the black, and I don't mind making a profit, but not here. I don't see why we need to make a profit at the dump.
I don't think any of these proposals are gonna
make a
allow us to make a
profit,
profit.
right.
They're gonna, one of the things that we're guessing at here is like, we increase the bag price, and as you said, you're gonna probably reduce the number of bags purchased because we're increasing the bag price. People are gonna find ways to compact it and make it smaller, and the bags will weigh more, and everything gets disposed of by weight. So, I don't think we're looking at increases for fuel and transportation for next year and tipping fees. So I think we're just trying to keep our head above water and not come back to you next year and say, hey, there's another $200,000 deficit, we gotta deal with it. We're trying to project what we see is happening and how to break even at this, so when we're sitting here a year from now, we can say, we didn't make any money, but we didn't lose any money either.
Right, and I think that's a fair way to do it.
Maybe I'm just not understanding the math. So if we're picking up 81,000 a year in demo, if we go to 450, we're picking up 212,000 in bag fees. At $25, we're picking up 120,000 for stickers. We've got a loss of 174 right now. We're way in the black at this point.
Right, we're projecting that once you increase prices, you're gonna reduce the amount of tonnage coming in. So you may increase the price, but you're gonna reduce the how do I wanna say it, the revenue. You're not gonna sell as many bags, but your bags are gonna be heavier. So these are things that you have to take into account. We're also gonna be raising, prices are going up, we all know that. So what you're trying to do is say, what's gonna happen next year? How much more is it gonna cost us next year? And then come up with revenue that will offset those additional costs. And that's what we're trying to do. You know, just to give you an example, there are places, we raise the demo cost. There are places that will take the demo cheaper. Right now, the demo, there's a couple places that are more expensive than us for demo. If we raise the price so that demo is something that we offer, but it's more expensive than everywhere else, we're not gonna get as much, but we're gonna make more money.
So you might still break even, is what you're saying, in
Yeah.
theory, or you could only be at 40,000 instead of 81,000.
Yeah, right, so that's why I say these are projections. And, you know, it's like, for example, I'll use the stickers just as an example. We have no idea how many stickers we'll sell. Obviously not as many as beach stickers.
Right.
But, you know, how many we're gonna sell, we don't know, so it's just a guess. And we sit here saying, you know, that revenue is gonna be, say, 10,000, well, you know, maybe it's only 7,200 or something like that in the long run, so it's just something that, you know, these are recommendations that we think we should try, and then, yes, sit down at a year's time and look at them.
I mean, you may get people that decide they're not gonna go to the transfer station anymore, and they may contract with a private hauler.
Yep.
In which
That's
case,
probably-
we'd sell less bags at $4.50. We'd also reduce our cost of moving that waste after. But you're right, that will happen. Definitely.
Right. But I think I just think when we're looking at this I appreciate the committee, all the work that you did. It seems like a fair proposal, especially if we're lowering the sticker cost, because that I thought was a little high. But, and it just gets us at least on track to be able to deal with it. Yes, in a year from now, we'll look at it, and it may be that we're behind. And maybe it may be that it's higher, then then we'll be able to deal with maybe even reducing, who knows? But at this point, it looks like it's barely gonna keep us level. And at this point, it's either deficit or projecting to stay level, and I think this is a very good proposal, and it's simple.
The proposals we're seeing tonight would net us an increase in revenue of $412,000 to offset a $174,000 deficit. That puts us in the black by $238,000. I understand that some of the things may go down, some of the costs may go up. I don't see it going up by that much.
So the numbers, the averages that I'm giving you are based off of my FY '22 pricing. I have no idea what my vendor's gonna come in and for FY '23 to tell me the prices. So I can't project what the new loss is, what the new expense is gonna be.
You don't have a crystal ball down
I
there and
don't,
find
I
out.
wish I wish I did. So like Scott's saying, if you go with a $4.50 bag with FY '22 pricing, we're picking up on average $212,000.
Well, I guess the question is, if we went through with changes and we saw that we were way far in the black, would we be having this conversation to lower prices? That's something that government
Right.
seldom does.
Right, that would be great.
Or at the very least, not raising prices.
Not raising prices, right?
Yeah, you know, if the inflation cycle continues, there's a good surplus, just give them a break, then we don't have to raise prices, we'll carry on another year, see where we sit at the end of another year.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree.
Well, what do we wanna do?
Well, I would think that we'd wanna do the $4.50, and do the 8 to 12 and then $5 sticker.
Yeah, I agree with the low price on the sticker. I do agree with that.
I disagree with the $4.50. I think that's much too high.
I don't. Well, I'll make a motion and then we can discuss it.
That's probably the best way to move along. Make a motion, discuss the motion.
I make a motion, I move to limit the paper bag size to 33 gallons, set the fee for those bags at $4.50 per bag, increase the demolition debris rate from cents a pound to 12 cents a pound and require transfer station stickers at the rate of $5 for all residents using the transfer station no later than, and we didn't even, a date.
So I can have my stickers ready to start being used as of January 1 with a potential purchase start date of around December 15th.
But we've gotta give people some time to come in. So you think you'll have them available at the counter in January?
It's gonna take me, when I place my order tomorrow, it's gonna take me 6 to 8 weeks to get my sticker, my actual sticker in here.
So maybe March 1 implementation.
Yeah, March 1 is
full-
good.
Cause you can't have them out there for 2 weeks. The whole town's not coming in 2 weeks.
Okay, no later than March 1st, 2023.
Yeah, anything after the January 1. So.
Do I have a second on that motion? Discussion. We have a second on the floor. So discussion on that.
I'm all set with it.
Oh, you didn't include demo in that.
What?
You didn't include the increase in the demo in that.
Yeah,
so
I did it from the,
Oh, okay.
yeah, I
didn't hear
did,
it, I'm
from 8
sorry.
cents
I
to
was thinking
12.
about the date and I missed
Yeah.
that.
Nope.
It's definitely this is a difficult subject.
is, and
you know you're
right.
gonna hear it when you go to the grocery
Well,
store.
that's the reason why we've
Yeah.
run a deficit for the last
Yeah.
5 years.
Right,
10
but look
years.
what it costs us now to, to bring it up. So it's either we deal with it now and then we be able to do it in incremental,
Oh, no, I agree with
Yeah.
you, Kathy, I'm just
Yeah.
saying that,
it's too bad that.
yeah, I mean, we've lost $1 million up there over the last whatever years.
Right,
And
and prices are going up. I'm gonna tell you, I just did the books for last year, it went from 9,900 for our propane and our electricity for the center. This year is $16,100. 60% increase. How can you plan for that? So, I think it's fine, at least get up to the step and maybe we're gonna be level and maybe we're not, so. But we need to do this.
If we were to go at $3.50 a bag instead of $4.50 a bag, that brings us to a net increase of 215 based on everything else, which is still,
Do those numbers match what you're?
which just still allows us to absorb some cost increases. I can't support $4.50 a bag, I could support $3.50 if we had to.
Then why don't we go with 4?
Just gonna say.
I could compromise with
Okay,
4.
I'll go with 4.
Twist my arm.
Okay, I'll reinstate my motion. I move to limit the paper bag price to 33 gallons and set the fees for those bags at $4 per bag. Increase the demolition debris rate from 8 cents a pound to 12 cents a pound and require transfer station stickers at the rate of $5 for all residents using the transfer station no later than March 1st, 2023.
And actually, one thought, would you mind adding with annual review
With annual review.
on this? That way we keep up with it in real time as part of the motion.
Very good.
I'll second it.
All those in favor? 5-0.
Good job.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you,
I would
Steve.
ask that we look at recycling as soon as possible.
Oh, wait, well, yeah, we can set it up with March 1st, no later than March 1st, we should be starting looking at that.
Yeah, we can,
We have to
I'll
say,
work on that
get this
with
done and go to the
Bill
next
and Mike.
Mike, you won't really have data
Till not by March 1st.
year and a half, but she'll have some monthly stuff. You can have it whenever you want. You just say so. No, you just say so and they'll get it.
Great. Well, moving on to a public hearing on the release of up to $80,000 from the Ambulance Reserve Fund for the purchase of an ambulance for Wells Emergency Medical Services. I see we have Steve in the room, who couldn't join us last time, but thankfully he can this time. You wanna just speak to the public real quick, we didn't get to last time, as part of the public hearing to kick it off, and then any comment we'll take after Steve speaks.
Yep, my name's Steve Merrill, interim director of Wells EMS. I was here a few weeks ago in reference to increasing some of the funds for our ambulance due to inflation costs. The increase for the new EMS unit since the last time that was brought to you before the budget was set, The increase has gone up to $21,816.38, going for an 8.39 increase for inflation of the truck, radios, also retrofitting some of our stretchers that are needed for the new ambulance. So, I've gone through a bunch of ways of trying to figure it out and cut back on certain things on the ambulances that we could as best we could, but unfortunately I couldn't cut back too much more. So that's why we're coming in for an extra $21,000 or $21,816.38.
It's very difficult to cut back on something like an ambulance or a piece of fire apparatus because the equipment in these is life-saving equipment. So, if they cut back too much, then that's not good for anybody in town. So, I think coming into the upcoming budget, you should be asking the hard questions of the big equipment buyers, including WEMS and the fire department, police department, public works. Given this inflationary period, are their estimates accurate? Because he couldn't have predicted this when they first proposed the ambulance, but do your best going forward to try to predict the real cost. Things you look at in January as part of the budget that aren't gonna get bought for 16 months, they won't get delivered, you've gotta be thinking that far ahead. But there is money available in their reserve fund to pay for this.
Excellent. Well, Steve, thank you. Is there any members of the public that would like to comment on this at all? Seeing none, maybe can I have a motion to close the public hearing and move on to discussion with the board?
I make a motion that we close the public hearing.
Second.
All those in favor? 5-0. Discussion with the board. Anything from the board on this?
Steve, the last time you were here, we talked about the possibility of, rather than trading the old ambulance, selling the ambulance, and we talked with the fire chief of an outfit that he's connected with, that they sell this sort of equipment. Would you have any luck?
So I actually spoke to the ambulance dealer that would be buying the ambulance from. And I said, do we get a price break if we don't trade an ambulance in? And he said, no, your price goes back up to $6,000. So there's no savings there. There are smaller towns throughout Maine that are probably going to be looking for ambulances. This ambulance right now is going through another maintenance issue, and it should be up to snuff here pretty quick. But honestly, it would be a good ambulance for a small town, 500 calls, 400 calls a year. But where we use them consistently and we put one ambulance run is at least 70 miles by the time we go to the call, to the hospital, back into town. And sometimes it's 100 and something miles going to Portland and back and in town. So I did check, just see what the prices were out and around on what they're selling ambulances for. I do want to contact the actual dealer manufacturer that made the ambulance back in 2013 and see if they could give us any better ideas on what we could actually sell it for. Have them appraise it because they're the ones who actually sold it to us, and see if we can get a better deal and price. But I mean, there's a potential that we could make 12,000, 13,000 on it if we even went out to bid.
Into it. That's I think if we get whatever we can get for it, it'll help offset the cost factors.
Yeah, the other idea, some of the people actually out there now are looking into old ambulances and make them into campers. So a lot of people are actually looking into that, and something that's been maintained well, they'd probably pay some good money for it.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks, Steve. Anything else from the board? We have a motion?
I move for the release of up to $80,000 from the Ambulance Reserve Fund 0715 for the purchase of an ambulance for Wells Emergency Medical Services.
Second.
All those in favor? 5-0. Thanks. Thank you, Steve, and thank you for all the hard work you're doing for WEMS. Thank you. Really appreciate that and the efforts of the board. You guys are doing great. So.
Yeah.
Thank you. Next, for the first time this evening, we will move on to open to the public. Members of the public are welcome to come up to the podium. 10 minutes set aside. We ask each member keep it to 3 minutes, just so everybody has a chance to talk. Would anybody from the public like to speak at this time? Yes, sir.
I just like to tell you, I was at the transfer station about 2 months ago, and there was a pickup truck. He had 3 trash cans, no bags. He was dumping the trash cans into where the orange bags go. So I told the attendant there, he went over and spoke to him. I don't know what they did. But evidently he might have been out of town.
All right. Well, thank you for that information, Mr. Campbell. Anybody else like to speak at this time? Seeing none. Move on to current agenda items, the first of which is review and action on accounts payable and payroll warrants. Any discussion? Seeing none.
I move to approve and sign the accounts payable warrant dated October 18th, 2022, and the amount of $5,900,086.31, and the general assistance warrant dated October 18th, 2022, and the amount of $2,170.
Second.
All those in favor? 5-0. Moving on to update, discussion, and action on committees, projects, issues, purchases, and personnel. First being a discussion and action to schedule a public hearing on the extension of Fisherman's catch license agreement. Bill?
Yeah, there's gonna be 2 items kind of progressing in similar timelines for Fisherman's Catch. One is this license that they had that you're being asked to extend. And that'll be the public hearing for this. They're also gonna be working slightly behind that timeline to solve the problem in a more long-term fashion. They're gonna propose a land swap to you, and Leah will represent you on that, but that's gonna be a separate action that you'll see. So this item here is to extend the license agreement that they currently have. They're 1-year license agreements. Lets them occupy, you remember the deal, right? So it lets them occupy some land.
Any discussion? Seeing none, do we have a motion?
I move to schedule a public hearing on November 1st, 2022 at 6 p.m. in the Littlefield Meeting Room, 208 Sanford Road, on the extension of Fisherman's Catch License Agreement.
Second.
All those in favor? 5-0. Next, we have a discussion and action to schedule a public hearing to consider whether Near Beach Motels lodging license should be revoked or suspended. Bill, you want to just?
Yeah, we had hoped that that would be scheduled for November 1st. But we're not gonna have the chief here on November 1st. And we'd also prefer to have the lawyer that's representing you, which is Sandra Gay, who's a veteran land use attorney. You can't have the same lawyer that Jodine has in this case. She wasn't feeling well, she couldn't be here tonight. We'd like to do the executive session whatever night you do the public hearing. So you talk to your lawyer for a bit first and then have the public hearing. Now, you were involved in a discussion as far as, and you've got to decide when you can schedule. You've got quite a schedule that year.
What I talked to legal about this briefly, and what the idea was is that we hold it in an off week for November 8th.
It's election day?
Yes, that is election day. As far as the attorneys are concerned, there was a lot of scheduling conflicts, but it looked like the stars would align, so to speak, on that date, going through everybody's schedules.
And that's just for the public hearing as well as just the.
Well, actually,
It would be the public hearing.
Yeah.
Now, what action you end up taking after the public hearing remains to be seen.
Chances are I wouldn't be here. But
That's why I was asking you earlier.
yeah, I know.
Roundabout.
That's why I'm thinking, oh, good, I'm just gonna make the November 1st one. But okay.
Why can't we do it, say, November 3rd?
The chief, when were you coming back? I think you're gone all week. That's the problem. Yeah.
I mean, I think the 8th is not a good day. I mean, to have it on election day is, I mean, because you're gonna have a public hearing, you want the public here, people are gonna be going to vote. I mean, it's just not
That was certainly a concern that I raised, that's why I wanted to talk about it in a full board setting this evening, you know.
Couldn't
I'll be
the
here.
chief do it and Zoom, we were allowed to have Zoom.
Legal didn't like that idea, they wanted him here in person.
I mean, if we did it on
What's the
the
second?
9th, we could Zoom Kathy in.
Can you zoom me in? Really? Can I do that?
Yeah, we can do it.
Okay.
We gotta check with the lawyers, but I think what you could do is you could schedule it tonight. And if the lawyer can't make it, then we're gonna have to, you could, yeah. Then we're probably gonna have to reschedule
Let's
it again.
reschedule it anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. So November
But
9th.
so on November 9th, you said?
Wednesday the 9th?
We wanna pick a couple of dates just in case there's a scheduling issue with the attorney.
What attorney, our attorney?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest, I'm getting sick and tired of people pushing this. Somebody's gonna die.
Yes.
I just wanna say that, you know what I mean? And we keep pushing this thing off. You know,
Well, what, wait,
it wasn't their attorney, that's why we postponed it tonight?
when are
It
you
was a
leaving?
posting issue, my understanding was
Tomorrow?
notice.
Leaving on
We
the
can do it
first?
next week.
Yeah, why can't we do it
next week.
next week?
They had some scheduling conflict, I
I'm
proposed
not
that
sure we
idea.
could post it legally by then.
But we post.
If you posted it tomorrow for next Thursday, a week from Thursday,
I don't know what the legal timeline is for your.
Where-
Jodine, yeah, you wanna, what's that?
What about Wednesday?
Could you come up here actually, please?
I don't
I
know
don't
how
wanna, I don't wanna
far
put
ahead
this
you have
off,
to post.
I don't wanna put this off any longer.
That's.
I just don't. I just don't.
They could, if they still did it on the first, it's just the chief that can't make it, right? The lawyer made it. The
Yes,
lawyer-
the lawyer can make it,
I can make.
and you cannot.
But they thought the chief was somewhat critical, but what if we zoomed him in?
I asked that question and they were leery on it. I will, just as a full disclaimer, no, I'm not saying whether I agree or not, I'm just passing that message along, so.
Wait, who is Larry though?
Legal,
Well,
Can we have the chief delegate to?
but I don't know, it's obscure to me because Maine passed a remote meeting policy.
That's what I'm saying, is
They-
why
they
are we leaving
did,
until
but-
the week past?
We passed it already.
But you then, when you offer to Zoom a public meeting, you have to make it available to everybody, not just one person. And that is technically almost impossible, and we don't wanna get caught on a technicality with this particular process.
Then I would say next week is,
I'm not going to be in the state.
Well,
They.
what time are you
so-
leaving on the first?
5:15 a.m.
You can make it before.
If I, could I ask,
The first of Tuesday?
you've
What should
issued
we do
it,
Monday?
To the 31st.
Yeah, we do the 31st, Monday.
I don't get many trick or treaters anyway, so.
Always tells me.
Have to
What
check
time?
with
It's
Leah,
okay.
but that could work.
What time would be a good time?
Planning board is meeting on the 31st.
Yeah, that's well,
Well, if we did it earlier,
Do it,
what time do they meet?
7.
Okay, what if we met at 6?
Mike likes the room earlier than that, so I would say
5? Okay. That's good, it's still light, might be too, you know, you might still be for trick or treaters. Or 4.
that works for everybody, we'll make it.
we
work.
certainly can technically pull it off.
Okay.
Cause if you do it tonight, you're gonna sign the.
Let's do 4.
Let's do 4, that's good. Monday
It
at
gets
4.
us out of here before.
And it may be that if your lawyer can't make it, then we gotta look at somebody else making it, because
What's the date?
we can't, you know.
Well,
we've
yeah,
got
that's,
too much
we're
work
talking
to do.
about a span of 3 weeks, I mean, that's not, that's
Yeah.
not gonna work, I don't,
I think the 31st would,
yeah, let's just say the 31st.
Okay, the October 31st.
at 4 p.m.
Okay, 4 p.m. Okay. And that's a Monday. Okay.
Yeah.
October 31st. Okay, ready?
Yep.
I move to schedule a public hearing on October 31st 2022 at 4 PM in the Littlefield Meeting Room, 208 Sanford Road, to consider whether near beach motels lodging license should be revoked or suspended.
Second.
All those in favor? 5-0, thank you. Next, we'll move on to discussion, Jodine, thank you. We'll move on to discussion and action to schedule a public meeting at the library on climate change. Suggested dates are November 17th, December 1st, or December 8th. So, some discussion on that.
December 1st is good. When is that, a Thursday?
Let's take a look. One week.
Yes, it is.
It's a Thursday.
I'm not gonna be here,
No,
Okay,
sorry.
well,
well, the 8th is the following Thursday, will you be here then?
I will be here then, yes.
oh, the 8th?
Yeah.
That's even better. You're not gonna be here?
No, I think, I don't know.
Oh,
I
okay.
have no idea what I'm gonna be next week.
And these are, okay,
Bob, sound good to you?
Yeah.
Okay,
you're gonna be out standing in the field.
I hope so.
well, why don't we say December 8th, what time?
6.
6?
And where's it gonna be, here?
Library,
Library, okay.
What'd you pick? What was your final?
December 8th, 6 PM.
Okay.
I make a motion that we schedule a public meeting at the library on climate change on December 8th at 6 PM.
Second.
All those in favor? 5-0. Moving on to discussion and action on updates, personnel committees, assignments, resignations, and issues. We have a resignation of Holly Gamache from the Recreation Commission effective October 31st, and resignation of Larry Dyer from the Recreation Commission as well. I want to thank them for serving.
I move to accept the resignations and write letters of thanks to them for their service.
Second.
All those in favor? 5-0, thank you. Moving on to discussion and action to accept donations and bequests. We have the first is $3 from various donors to the Wells Harbor Shellfish Lab. We have a $25 gas card donation from Peter, I'm probably not gonna get this right, so forgive me, but Peter Pazkowski to the town of Wells for general assistance. And we have $32 donation from various library users to the Wells Public Library.
I move to accept the generous donations and write a letter of thanks to the donors.
All those in favor? 5-0. Discussion and action on approving the minutes of the October 4th, 2022 Selectmen's Meeting. Does everything look good?
Yep. I move for approval of the October 4th, 2022 Selectmen Meeting minutes.
Second.
All those in favor? 5-0. For the second time this evening, we have open to the public for 10 minutes. Individual members keep it to 3 minutes. Anybody like to speak this time? Yes, Cindy.
Yeah. One question on the transfer station fees. Are they going into effect, will they all be March 1st with the stickers, or are they gonna, will the start dates be staggered?
The motion was everything starts on March 1st.
Everything March 1st? Okay, great.
Thank you, Cindy. Anybody else like to speak at this time? Seeing none, we'll move on to good news.
Not under good news necessarily, but I promised Rebecca that I would mention, we have somebody who's, there was an appointment issue.
Lodging committee.
So
Somebody wanted to join.
you kind of held off on appointments till you get a chance to workshop, talk about some kind of open enrollment period where you'd do appointments maybe once or twice a year. That's what I understand. And we've got somebody that we had kind of promised that they would go on the lodging committee. I didn't know if you wanted us to move forward with
How
that.
many members are on there right now?
7.
Wasn't that the number that we designated was 7? We said that was a good number.
They could have alternates though, right? We could have,
Right, Jody had mentioned 10 to 11 regular members.
Was it?
Don't we have two separate committees, one for?
No, we said we were gonna do the Airbnb stuff with staff
Mhm.
after.
We wanted a minimum of 5 because we're having a hard time getting volunteers in the beginning. So now that we don't have a problem with volunteers, we wanted 10 to 11 if we could.
Well, because you're talking about such a variety of what they're gonna be talking about and you know, from the motels and all the different types and
Yeah.
shapes and sizes that we have. I don't know, they vote to do things, right, or move things forward?
Recommendations to move forward to you.
So probably an odd number would be better.
Well, this would move us to 8, correct? And the 7 appealed to me because right now I thought we had a balance of sorts. I thought we had 3 from the lodging, then 1 from the business and 3 residents, I thought is what it was currently. So depending on which way it went, it could throw the balance.
I know that there was at least one other lodging person that was interested in getting on, but we reached the 7 number and they took themselves off the list.
I mean,
Okay,
I really like the 7 number for
That's good with
the
me.
committees, for all of them. I just think that sometimes it's too many people, there's too many voices, and I mean, it's not that they can't go out and contribute during the meetings.
Okay.
So I think you should pass along, that's kind of the board's wishes.
Well, I mean, what's the rest of the board think? I mean, it's not
well,
just me.
they can attend and they
Yeah,
can
they can
probably,
Participate, they don't,
participate,
just
they
don't
don't,
vote.
they just don't vote, but they could probably be there.
Okay.
And we don't have any alternates on this one either, right?
I mean, it wouldn't hurt to have maybe 1 or 2 alternates, but because I suspect some of those people may go south for a while.
Yeah, that's the only thing.
Yeah.
7, I like the idea of keeping it, I agree with you on that, but.
We could move it forward as an alternate at the next meeting.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with an alternate.
You do have a problem?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Are we talking 1 alternate at that point or 2
Well,
alternates?
I think if somebody else comes forward.
We'll
and
just say
wants to
2
be on it,
alternates,
And
don't we
you
know
had
which?
somebody, maybe you let them come forward,
Right.
Rebecca.
Yeah, I have another application too for somebody who said that they would step in as an alternate if that was a decision.
So
I mean,
she's
if
already
that
got
was-
I
somebody.
mean, I mean, having a couple of alternates certainly would be,
Yeah, I think 2
Good.
alternates would be, that makes sense because well, look how hard it was to almost find a day for all of us gonna be together here, so.
And we'll move that other application forward then as an alternate as well. One more thing with appointments, it's kind of causing a little bit of dysfunction because we've stopped moving names forward to you for appointment. I think we ought to keep moving them forward like we were, and when you get time to talk about a possible open enrollment, you do it.
That's,
In the meantime, it's kind of awkward because we've got a coordinator who's taken applications for all these openings. And then we're telling them, well, we really can't move it forward right now.
I don't remember we talked about that we were gonna hold
well,
it
no,
up.
we talked about having a discussion.
Yeah, but we've been holding off. I think we're gonna move them forward if you
Yeah,
don't
move
mind.
forward like you always do.
You can call me and we can talk about when we can put a discussion on the agenda. We're booked up really for executive session and workshops for the next month or so.
Okay.
But you could put it on the regular agenda.
Yeah, and it'd be,
You
can
can
be on the next one. Can we just get a brief or something even going out? Just can we get a brief update of how many positions are on each committee right now available?
All right.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. It's a good idea, I like the idea of open enrollment.
Just so it's clear, and then setting a clear number too, so one committee doesn't have an infinite number of members, and then another one only has 5, and then one has 8, and that way there's just some continuity.
At the same time, we will move forward with the few that we've got pending. And one of them was that Mark guy who was here a meeting or 2 ago. He's gonna be an alternate on the budget committee. He's kinda anxious to
Yeah.
participate.
Sounds good.
All right.
Any good news from the board?
Yeah, I got some.
Yeah.
All right, thanks. I'll go kind of in order here. So, about a week ago, we had a game at home, in which we saluted our armed forces, and it was a great night. I know some were here, Cindy, I know, so, there was about 50 vets, that came, the school, student council interact, and my wife decorated and got all the vets lined up and ready to go, and, it's a great night. If you haven't been, I'd encourage you to come next year and see what it's like, cause it's quite a night. There's a great picture on one of the Facebook pages. There's like 7 people in the crowd just crying, watching these vets come out, and it's quite a night, for everyone, my players and the vets. One vet was I think he was about 96 years old, World War II vet, came, and it was just impressive to watch, this whole event take place, and probably better we won too, but but I just wanna thank everyone that's involved in that, including all the the band, everybody, the singers, the chorus, everybody does a great job that night. And it's really cool to see the whole school set up to honor our vets and salute them. So that was a cool night. And then ironically, like 2 days later, I stopped reading Facebook, with all the stuff on it, and I saw a vet that passed away without any relatives or I guess just no relatives. And so somebody put out, say, hey, he's being buried at the Southern Maine. If you haven't been to the Southern Maine Veteran Cemetery, it's unreal what they've done up there. So I went into administration, and right away they said, do what you want. And I was able to get a couple of vans. I brought a bunch of my football players up. And one experience for these kids, because while they were standing there, a few of the vets came over and were so moved that a group of high school kids would think about coming to a funeral for a guy they didn't even know, and it really brought out this thing for our players and everyone. It was, the vets kept coming over to thank the kids, and the kids were thanking the vets for this, and it was just unreal to watch the whole thing. So I just want to, our school does this stuff at a drop of a hat, and that's pretty cool, because I'm not sure every school would allow these things to happen and I love that I'm able to go to somebody and say, hey, can I do this today? And we're out, we're gone. And it's really kind of cool to see, and while it was a sad occasion, it was something for our kids that really meant a lot, I think, to everyone there. I'll jump off that and say, those of you who attended the Kennybunk game, we said we thank Butchie sent me a thank you card, because Kathy was yelling so much she couldn't speak the next day, and but it was a great game, and it's nice to see that rivalry reestablished. It went away for a while. It was a long time rivalry here, and it certainly was reestablished after 3 overtimes, and we won, and that's good. In upcoming things, girls, I know that girls soccer plays Friday, and I believe it's at 4 at home in the first round of the tournament. And then we have a game at 6 in York, so you can tie everything in if you want another rivalry game at 6 at York. So, and if we win, we'll get a bye and move through, and I'll let you know playoffs eventually. So that's all I got. It was a lot, sorry, but I just wanted to cover that all.
Excellent. That's great to hear, Tim. Thank you for contributing
It
that.
was a lot of fun. Very
John,
nice.
one thing I mentioned to Bill, and I've gotten a lot of phone calls from people that don't understand a question on the warrant regarding the mobile home parks. And I thought that Mike's memo to us explained it very well, and I was asking if we could have Mike put something on the Facebook page so people have a better understanding. People are confused of what it is that it's actually trying to do. And I think it's important that we get that information out there, and that's really the only thing I've heard about that's on the ballot.
Yeah.
And it is confusing. I've tried to explain it to people, and I may have done a good job, I may not have, but I think that there's probably other people out there that are, and if we can get on our Facebook page, I think that would be in our maybe our Facebook page and the website.
Yeah, he's putting it on the website, and Rebecca will get it on the Facebook page.
I think that would be helpful to people so they understand.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Here, I actually had a conversation with somebody I haven't spoken to in quite a while about that yesterday. I was actually surprised that there was many questions around that. So.
He said it's the most attention he's had on any matter in quite a while. He was shocked, but he's certainly happy to provide the info.
Well, I think just the wording of it, when you're trying to pass an ordinance to do something to allow, mobile home parks that are not in compliance to expand.
Yeah.
I mean, that gets people a little anxious.
Yeah.
And understanding that it's only one, and that it has to do with this housing, affordable housing law that was passed, and that's why we have to comply with it. But I think if we get something out there, I think it'll be helpful for people to understand it better.
Yeah, absolutely.
I agree. I've been around town for various reasons lately, and that's been the #1 question actually, is the mobile home. And it's funny, that's one of the big things that hit. I think they saw it on their absentee ballot or saw it on something, and just it hit them very hard, and didn't understand. And once explained, it wasn't that bad a thing, but it took a while to explain the whole thing. So I agree.
That's it for me.
All right, excellent.
This past Saturday, we had the planting of the yellow tulips, the yellow tulip project, and Bob came out and planted. And I'd like to thank Rebecca for getting the area prepped for us. It was fantastic. The area was all opened up, and they actually drilled the holes in the ground for us to put the bulbs into. So it was a nice day. It didn't take too long, and next spring be pretty fantastic to see.
That will be.
Thanks for both of you for coming.
No, it was fun, it was good. Got our hands dirty, my knees dirty.
Yeah, you got yours.
Excellent. Anything else from the board?
No.
All right. Well, seeing none, move on to adjournment.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor? 5-0. Thank you, folks. Have a good evening. See you next time.
Good meeting.